Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description, and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. But today's election day. This is my second video that I'm making today. My first was about the 2020 election according to the polls, so you should check that out. But today's video is about when will we get the ballots cast, and this video may actually apply to a couple days after the election, because looking at this very interesting New York Times article, we may not get full results, and the results that we need on election night, the results we need to make a projection. So I've kind of narrowed it down to the states that I think could realistically go either way. In a very good scenario for either candidate, I believe that, these states that are highlighted in gray could go to either candidate. Sure, you could make an argument like states like New Hampshire couldn't go either way, states like Texas couldn't go either way, but I'm kind of expanding it because I want to see what different scenarios could we have to what percent of the vote is counted on election night, who's going to be winning on election night, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to go through, down each swing state. So first of all, we have a state like Arizona where the polls close at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And the type of ballots that we're going to get reported first is the early votes, which means that Joe Biden will most likely be winning the early vote in Arizona. So this is based on the early vote where we're going to have, as soon as the polls close or shortly after the polls close. We're going to have Biden most likely winning Arizona. Next state, Florida. We're also most likely going to have Biden winning in the state of Florida because the early and in-person ballots are being reported first. So you could even be up by a lean margin maybe. We look at Georgia. Georgia is going to have no order. So expect this to be, tilt Trump, where I think that the state will be. We look at the next swing state, a state like Iowa, where they're counting the absentee ballots first. Expect these to also be maybe in favor of Joe Biden. Maybe put this at tilt to Donald Trump. Maybe put this at tilt to Donald Trump. I think that's fair. The next swing state, Maine, they have no order for these ballots. So expect it to be, more in favor or more realistic to what the actual results will turn out to be. We look at Michigan. Michigan, they have no order, but there is no, it says they said they could take up until November 6th to finish counting the ballots. So we could have, Biden leading the state, but it could be very close. You could have the Detroit results not reporting, the Lansing results not reporting, and Trump could even be winning the state, or Biden could be winning by a likely margin, and then it gets closer. This is all based on, my prediction, what I think is going to happen. Joe Michigan, probably going to be realistic and similar to what the final results will be. Minnesota, we do have that the postmarked ballots can arrive later. This was struck down in court, I believe. I don't know if they've overturned it, but it was struck down in court. So 9 p.m., we're probably going to have Biden winning that state as well. The next state is the state of Nevada. Nevada, they have no order for counting the ballots, but I would expect them to report the mail-in ballots sooner because of how many there are and how it's universal, but it's really a guess. It could really go either way, to be honest. In Nebraska's 2nd district, they are reporting the early in-person and mail-in ballots first, meaning that the early results will probably be better for Joe Biden in Nebraska's 2nd district, which will be good for him. The next state, North Carolina, they are processing the early in-person and processed mail-in ballots first, meaning that the results in North Carolina, no matter if he ends up winning it, Joe Biden will probably be winning it first. Ohio is a state that even Joe Biden could be winning, to be honest, earlier on in the night. I expect Donald Trump to be narrowly winning it earlier on in the night because of these absentee ballots that are being reported first in the state of Ohio here. But the ballots can also arrive by November 13th here. And, this is a system Ohio has had for a while, but we will see how it turns out now. Pennsylvania, there's a lot of controversy about Pennsylvania because the ballots in Pennsylvania can arrive by November 6th here, and it's going to be very interesting because, some counties have said they're not even going to start counting mail-in ballots until they can, deal with the supply of ballots that they're going to have. But it says the Secretary of State that said that in order to prevent large swings in results, she is asking counties to report mail-in votes routinely instead of all at once. So we're not going to have a dump like we are in states like Florida and North Carolina. But it says that they would have the overwhelmingly majority of votes by Friday, November 6th. So I do expect this to be very close throughout the night. I think Trump could actually be winning the state throughout the night. But I think if I had to make a call, I'd say Biden probably will be narrowly winning it earlier on in the night. And then based on my prediction, he'd end up, expanding his lead. Texas is going to be interesting because I believe most of the people that are going to vote in Texas have already voted. We've seen record early turnout. I don't know how many more votes there are to actually, count. But it says officials say the bulk results will be known on election night because an excuse is required to vote by mail in Texas. Officials do not think that processing those votes will result in delays, though increased turnout would. So we're probably going to have a situation where Trump is winning in Texas, and that's similar to what the final result will be like. The next state, Wisconsin, here, the final swing state that we have to fill in is the state of Wisconsin, where it says that there's no order, but it says in-person votes could come first in 39 municipalities that count absentee ballots separately, including Milwaukee. So we could actually see that Trump is winning the state of Wisconsin earlier on. It says Governor Tony Evers has said he expects to know the results on election night or by the day after at the latest. The elections director in Milwaukee County, which officials say has the potential to be latest to report, said that results could take between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Wednesday. So we're looking at a situation where Milwaukee's probably going to be more Republican earlier on in the night and then turn more Democrat. So this is a rough estimate. Actually, if we look finally at the state of New Hampshire here, forgot to look at New Hampshire, but if you do look at the state of New Hampshire, it says no details provided on what they're reporting first. So I'm just going to put it at likely D because I think that's a realistic scenario for how New Hampshire will turn out. But this is what it may look like earlier on in the night. We could have a situation where after, maybe this is around 10, 11 p.m., this is what the map could look like. Not states being called, but in terms of these states going a certain direction. And by this time, you can call Texas, that's why I'll put in the safe column. You can call these states. You can probably call Iowa and Ohio at this point, and you can probably call Colorado, New Mexico, New Hampshire. You can call all of these states. And then the other states here will probably be too close to call. But at this point, you can probably call Minnesota, to be honest. You can probably call Nevada. So later on in the night, we're going to have a situation where it really does come down to these big 6 states plus Georgia plus Nebraska's 2nd district. So later on in the night, expect Florida and North Carolina to get closer. I think Trump is going to win both of these states, so expect Trump to take a lead, maybe 11:30 midnight. This is a really rough estimate, but this is kind of outlining what the map is going to look like and how it's going to change over the night. But early results in Florida and North Carolina will be better for Democrats, and then they will get better for Republicans as the night goes on because they are reporting in-person election day voting last. Now, for the rest of these states, Wisconsin is a state that you will have Milwaukee reporting most of its results later in the night, which I believe will turn this into the Democrats' column. Michigan, it says there's no order, but they expect to have results by November 6th. However, I think that Joe Biden's lead will be healthy enough to where they can make a call on the state of Michigan, and I think that's what they'll be able to do. Pennsylvania may take until the early hours of Wednesday morning. So this is a scenario where what we could be looking like. Maybe, Arizona turns to tilt. But this is what we could be looking at, just before midnight, around midnight, where we could see most states called. Joe Biden's at 246. Donald Trump's at 187. Here we have a number of battleground states here. Many of them are very close. But how's it going to turn out? Well, Nebraska's 2nd, I think, will probably end up going into Joe Biden's column. So you can call that maybe 2 a.m. Arizona, I think, will narrowly end up going into Joe Biden's column, and I don't think the in-person ballots on election day are going to be enough to flip that. And then I think by this time they can probably call Florida. Florida's probably going to count them pretty fast. Same thing with North Carolina. Same thing with Georgia. And then earlier in the morning, you'll see that Joe Biden has 258, Donald Trump is 247. This is earlier hours in the Wednesday morning. And I think that at this point, depending on how much Joe Biden is leading, if it's, accurate with my prediction, I think that these states would both be called. But first, Maine at large would obviously be called for Joe Biden. Maine 2nd district would probably also be called for Donald Trump. But by around 2 a.m. in the morning, this is a very rough prediction, but by around 2 a.m. in the morning, these states could be called both for Joe Biden, just due to the fact, not because all the ballots have been counted, but due to the lead and how healthy it is. So I think that the race could realistically be called around 2 a.m. I could be completely wrong. They could call it at 11 o'clock when the California polls close, or they could call it at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. But we will just have to see. But this is the scenario where we're going to have a very wacky very wacky map on election night, where we're going to have some states you'd expect to be red and they're going to be blue. Some states you expect to be blue, they're going to look red. It's going to be a very, it's a mirage that they're saying. It's not just a red mirage, but it's actually a blue mirage in some cases. So we will see how it turns out, but I'm very excited for election night. I'll have my analysis after the election, and we will see what happens. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description, and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. So again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.